What's going on, Bucs fans? Rachel West here along with Rick Stroud and Joey Knight. And guys, we're headed into Saints Week, a big division rivalry, kind of. Coach Bowles has very much said that this isn't a rivalry because they've lost so much recently against New Orleans. Rick, I know one of the big priorities for them going into this game is probably going to be protecting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the whole thing really in this series of late anyways, that Tom Brady in particular has thrown a lot of interceptions. He's lost a couple of fumbles. And, you know, Brady doesn't have a good record overall against the New Orleans Saints. He's 4-5. And you consider all the teams that he has dominated, going 7-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. This New Orleans Saints team has been kind of a different animal. So you have to protect the football, and we'll get into injuries. That might become a little harder if Donovan Smith doesn't play, a new offensive line. And this New Orleans defense has always given them trouble. I mean, they've played games with Tom Brady where they scored 3 points at home one game and 0 points at home another game. And when you can do that to a Tom Brady-led team, that's a combination of penalties and turnovers. You're hurting yourself for sure. But definitely you can't give the ball away on the road, hostile environment, and a home opener for the Saints.
Yeah, and they're definitely hungry to get a win also after last week. Joey, we're not just going to put this all on Tom Brady and the turnovers. What are some of the other areas that they're going to need to improve on going into this week?
This drought precedes Tom Brady. The Bucs haven't beaten the Saints in the regular season since the 2018 opener when Ryan Fitzmagic, had a career day. The common denominator in a lot of these losses is Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach. I think a big thing, and Tom Brady touched on this the other day, they're able to get to Tom with a 4-man pass rush. You got ends like Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan. When you're able to get to the quarterback with only 4 guys, it allows you to be really creative with the other 7 guys on defense. And they get creative and they get physical. And that's given Tom Brady and this offense all kinds of problems, as history has shown. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they navigate that, because the Saints probably aren't going to change up very much. They don't get too exotic. They only blitz about 10-15% of the time, and that's been kind of the MO against the Bucs. So we'll see how the Bucs navigate that this go round.
Hopefully better than in the past. And then, Rick, there's a very familiar face on the other side of the ball, for the defense at least, Jameis Winston, quarterbacking the Saints. These guys want to be able to get after him pretty good.
Well, they do, but Jameis, this is his former team. He has a lot of pride. Last year, he was off to a great start. You remember the horse collar tackle that Devin White had that actually tore Jameis's ACL, and so he's coming off an injury himself. He's worked really hard to get back. He has a chance to be a starter in this league again. He was last year for a period, and he played exceptionally well down the stretch last week against Atlanta. They got behind 16 points. Jameis threw for over 200 yards in the fourth quarter. He's got plenty of weapons. I mean, there's no doubt. Michael Thomas is back, had a couple of touchdown catches. Jarvis Landry has made a lot of plays in this league. And Chris Olave is a really good first-round pick from Ohio State that's making plays to go with Alvin Kamara. So no shortage of weapons for Jameis Winston. We know he can throw the football. He threw for over 5,000 yards here. But we also know that he can throw you a turnover or two, and that's what the Bucs defense will be looking to do.
And Joey, the elephant in the room, all the injuries. You got the injuries to the receiver room, Donovan Smith on the line. Where does all that stand?
Well, the injury to Smith could be key. Todd Bowles didn't sound very reassuring when he gave us an injury update Friday. It's going to be very close with Donovan Smith. He's got that hyperextended elbow. And if he can't go, the veteran backup, Josh Wells, will replace him, which means that they will have one regular offensive line starter from the 2021 season, Tristan Wirfs, on the field Sunday if Donovan can't go. And we talked about the 4-man ferocious front for New Orleans. That could be a real problem. Things are a little more uplifting in the receiver room. We saw Mike Evans and Julio Jones back out here in practice. It looks like they're going to be able to go. Chris Godwin, it'd be kind of foolish for him to play with that bad hamstring after coming off knee surgery. But they'll still have 6 healthy receivers for this game. So things are a little more uplifting in the receiver room. Offensive line, not so much.
All right. Well, what is it? 8th time's a charm? Is that a thing? Can we say? Bucs against the Saints. We'll see. Hopefully things go a little better for them this time around in New Orleans. Make sure you guys are keeping up with all of our Bucs coverage that we've got for you over on social media at Sports by Tampa Bay Times, as well as over at tampabay.com.